A FAM production. Furniture and mattress. FAM.news.
You know, is it mattress in a box? Is it bed in a box? I don't know which one it is, but I know this. There's a lot of conversation around it right now. What are you doing with it? Are you making beds in the box? Are you storing them in back rooms of your stores? We're going to talk all about it in
Welcome to the Dos Marcos Show with Mark Kinsley and Mark Quinn, where mattress and furniture leaders gather to grow, get the inside scoop, tell stories, and take tequila shots.
Uno, dos, tequila!
Welcome aboard. Here's your passport to a planet filled with the mattress industry's brightest minds and biggest ideas. Meet your guides.
I'm Mark Kinsley, President and CEO of Englander.
And I'm Mark Quinn, co-founder of Spink & Co. and VP of Sherwood Bedding.
Together, they are Dos Marcos.
The galaxy's greatest mattress podcast has liftoff in 3, 2, 1.
Headlines up on fam.news right now. Columbus Mattress Wholesale names a new CEO, and I love this one. Omnichannel optimism. Beds Express succeeds without e-commerce. Ooh, we got to hear from Austin. All those articles up on fam.news, and of course, the brand new podcast, the Fam Marketing Show, with its own newsletter, Shake Your Marketing Moneymaker, every Friday. You don't want to miss that, so be sure you're subscribed at fam.news and shoot us a text, and we'll keep you plugged in. What's up, Quinn?
You know, a lot's up, Kinsley, but you know what is most important? Two things. Austin Bond, loved hearing his name. Can't wait to read that. Number two, very fired up for this marketing podcast. I think the concept is awesome. I think you are a average, mediocre talent on air. Adrian is going to make you look brilliant. That's what I think.
Hey, it's all about...
I think you're brilliant. You know that. I'm teasing. I think Adrian's going to be awesome for you. You guys are going to crush it. I'm teasing.
Quinn, I'm not above getting my picture taken with a celebrity just so I can look cool because I'm with a celebrity. Okay. And that's what happens when I'm on screen with you and with Adrian, and I'm okay with it.
Nah, me so much. Adrian. I think, problem is everyone's going to love Adrian more than they love us, which I think has probably already happened. And so we both may be out of a job, but just, look, if you're going to replace me with another Mark, I'd just like to meet them first and make sure I have some sign off on that. That's all.
Yeah, I think you're going to drop the gloves right then and there.
Well, you're screwed
with
because you got to bring
another
Mark in. You can't bring a bill in and it's Dos Marcos. Like, that doesn't work. So I've tried to limit your options. That's what's happened. But anyway, it's great to see you, my friend. Hey, bed in the box. So have you noticed a shift, Mr. Kinsley, of bed in the box versus mattress in the box? It used to be BIB. Everything was BIB. Now I'm starting to see MIB. I'm like, MIB, what is that? That's mattress in a box. I'm like, wait a minute. Who officially changed it from BIB to MIB? But anyway, that's what's happening. So,
well, I think I know a little bit about the backstory of this.
Tell me.
So bed in the box is a registered trademark to bed in the box.
That's true.
And so if you're using that on your site or in your advertising, that could be trademark infringement because bed in a box is actually a brand name. And so a lot of people move to mattress in a box or boxed beds. So I've seen all the acronyms and heard all the different variations on it. And it's interesting because there's been such a dramatic shift to manufacturing and shipping mattresses and warehousing mattresses in this type of environment, I guess. Whereas in the past, mattresses were made, they were bagged up, they were flat packed, and off they went. Now we have compression technology through amazing mattress machinery that puts them down in this little burrito box, and companies are getting it smaller and smaller. I remember talking with Mark Desjardins from C3 over at the ISPA Expo, and they had this box that it was pretty easy to pick up. Now, if it would have actually had a king size mattress in it, it would have been heavy, but it was about half the size or so of the regular boxes that they were putting beds into. And so as this technology evolves, it really starts to make you wonder, what's going to happen in this space and how are the logistics going to really change the manufacturing process permanently because of the logistical advantages.
Did you hear about the Elite Comfort Solutions bed in the box? You can put it in a backpack and then you take it out and then you add water and it grows like those sponges in your bathtub.
You're making stuff up, but I like it.
How do you know? Can you just, is it the look on my face? I thought I sold that. All right. So that's not true. It'd be cool if it was though.
You put it in a glass of water, like one of those little superhero pills, and all of a sudden the next day you come back and it grows, and there it is.
Holy crap! I got a bed in my room now. That's incredible. No, so Mark, the gosh, I mean, so we've all been around, right? I remember, gosh, Ed, I can't think of his last name at the moment, and I'm so sorry. He used to be with Restonic, actually. Anyway, so he was doing some stuff with China. This was, I'm telling you, 15 years ago, and this was before mattress in a box was big. And then everyone was like, oh, no, that's not going to work. It's not going to recover. And then people are like, oh, but it is. And we had to find fabrics that would recover better. And then the evolution. And then you had Michael Fuchs. He was putting it in Costco and Sam's. And then you started seeing stuff on Shop Television. And then you move forward. And now the direct-to-consumer stuff and bed in the box guy. Like the evolution of the bed in the box or the mattress in a box has come so far. And here we are. And like, I think there's a lot of questions around, okay, so the box size, it's one thing, right? So that's a big thing going forward. Innovation could happen there. And I think people are working on it, to your point. But the other one is like, so what's the place? So it cost more, Mark, to make a bed and roll pack it and put it into a box because you have the roll pack process. It slows down production. And then you have a box that you have to pay for to put it in, right? So it's not cheaper, but it could be cost effective for you depending on your business model, right? So if you're loading up a trailer and you can get, 50 to 100% more product on a 53-foot trailer, that's a huge benefit. If you can do it in a warehouse, if you own the space in your, like there's warehousing space, there's delivery truck space. If you've got a store, there's back of the room space. What's your strategy going to be? Do you have a fixture in your store? Like, how are you selling bed in the box? What's the BOIPA strategy? Buy online, pick up in store. Like, there's so many things. And then what are the product limitations, right? So how thick of a bed do you really want to put in a box? What are the price limitations or sensitivities? How high can you go selling a mattress in a box? What's recovery time? Are we going to start having born-on dates, Mark, for mattresses in a box? So like it's like the beer nowadays, right? How smart were they? Well, it was manufactured a month ago. Like back in my day, we're like a month. Like give me something a year old, I'll still drink that beer, right? So drink by dates. Are we going to have sleep by dates on mattresses in a box? There's so many questions, but I have good news. We're going to have all the answers in the very near future. Where's your head? Does it spin out like mine, like all these questions that don't have answers? Or if they do, you ask 5 different people the same exact question, you get 5 different answers. Go. Just go.
Take a
spin
breath
out on that. Go ahead.
I just need to look how red my face is. Surely that's not my enduring sunburn that refuses to go away.
Well, it was from having to listen to me rant for like the last 2 minutes. But anyway,
you seem to have a lot of questions about this world. I almost just see it as the evolution of the way products are going to be developed, shipped, and unloaded in a consumer's home. I remember looking at data years ago that, by the year 2026, half of all units were going to be roll packed. Well, we hit that early. I think we're probably there in terms of the number of units. I'm not just talking about being sold online. I'm just saying that units that actually get rolled. And so if you're doing volume at the lower end, it makes a lot more sense to roll these beds. So it's almost like a foregone conclusion to me. I don't have, I think, as many questions about where that world shakes out. I think it continues to trend in that direction. I think, at the medium and lower price points, you're going to have, those units. It's almost like going to become a mandatory for them to be, roll packed in many cases. Whereas, at the affordable luxury to luxury price points, I think there's probably a little bit of a skepticism on the part of the consumer about, is that actually going to hold up? If you're getting a 16, 17 inch bed inside of one of these roll pack machines, I think a lot of them with good materials that you would put into a bigger profile mattress like that are going to struggle to actually compress and fold and roll and stay rolled and recover properly. And not have border panels with wrinkling issues and all that. But yeah, I mean, I think it really comes down to what part of the market you're going to play in. And, you know, I've seen a lot of people, you know, even our customers who are like, hey, can you make a roll pack, you know, Englander mattress? And so we did it. And that was just because some of the independents we have, they operate with smaller footprints. They have smaller warehouse space. They had people wanting to do cash and carry, you know, from their store. They wanted to do contactless delivery during COVID, and you can't leave a mattress that's, you know, fully inflated on somebody's front porch and just walk away. So there were so many logistical advantages to moving into programs like this. And then of course, you know, the consumer, you know, sees it online, buys it online, gets it to their house. And if you have a good experience with that, they're cool with it. You know, we even did some research, and we looked at the research about people that bought online. 81% were happy with having bought online and didn't plan to do anything differently in the future.
Which is a big number.
It's a big number. Then we saw that more than half of people that bought at a sleep shop or a furniture store were saying, hey, next time, you know, it's likely that I might actually just, you know, skip that process. So I think that's where having your hooks in the water in as many places as possible really becomes a good piece of your strategy, is meeting the consumer where they are.
Yeah. So where do you think it goes, Mark? Do you think like bed in the box in terms of delivery system, right? So do you think someone walks into a furniture store and they see a mattress flat on a bed frame in a store, and then they buy that bed, they test that bed, and then it gets shipped to their home? Guy brings it in a box and unboxes it and puts it out. Is that a reasonable experience for the consumer? Or when they come into your store, you're like, hey, listen, here's the bed. And by the way, just so you know, like how much of the business do you think at brick and mortar specifically do you think is going to be eventually? Is every bed on a floor going to be bed in the box, mattress in a box at some point?
I mean, every bed I think might be a bit of a stretch in my mind, just because of the kind of the reasons I described. I think you're going to get compression technology on the manufacturing side that could handle these monster mattresses. But one of the other constraints just comes on the logistics side of things in terms of paying the overages to UPS and FedEx to be above the 150-pound weight limit or the 130 total box inches. So once you get beyond that, you're going to have to start paying heavier fees, whereas it's going to be a much more cost efficient, I think, to you know, have that as a regular mattress and ship it out of a warehouse, make sure it's set up properly, make sure there's no product quality and damage issues from shipping it to the consumer's house, and making sure that somebody has, from a delivery team, eyes on that. It's just a different little bit of an experience. And if you think back to the history of the industry, it's one of the reasons that we've been so insulated for so long and so resistant to major disruption was the regional nature of making and manufacturing and delivering mattresses. It's a heavy product. You know, mom and dad were either strapping it to the top of the station wagon, or you talk to guys like James Perez years ago, who were walking around door to door, and his dad had his flatbed pickup truck out front, stacked high with mattresses, and saying, we've got one for you right here, right now. So we've been insulated for a long time. And this definitely has been one of the most, probably the most disruptive thing to happen to this industry. While also being, you know, something great for people that want to get their mattresses quickly. So depending on your operation, gosh, you know, look at Walmart. You know, I'm right here in Bentonville, Arkansas. Walmart's in my backyard. If you go over to store 100, you know, they built on, but it wasn't because they needed more shopping space for consumers. They built on because they needed to turn that store into a bigger warehouse, and they've got a drone flying over my house every day carrying boxes all around. Now, I say that just to kind of reinforce this idea that store as warehouse as a concept, I think is really interesting. Now, furniture business, bulky items, the efficiency of having warehouse, things like that. But if you're a sleep shop and you could turn it into one footprint, you could do cash and carry. There's a lot to be said for putting it in the back of the Tercel versus having, you know, Jim and Andy loaded up in the truck and be one of, you know, 20 deliveries today. You're out the door, you save that delivery cost.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think so, building on what you just said, I think what's going to drive it, Kinsley, is costs considerations, right? So it's efficiency. So it's the cost to cube out a truck, it's delivery, it's surcharges on fuel, it's containers coming from foreign countries, it's back rooms, it's, hey, if we can consolidate warehouses and we can max out our cube, it's technology on the different types of foams, because now certain people will tell you that it's got to be this density to be in a box, or it's got to be this density to be in the box. So I think it's as technology on the raw materials improve and we get, we better understand how to manufacture it the right way. I think there's still some learning in that. If you ask people that question, like what's the shelf life of a mattress in a box, that's one of those questions you get like 5 answers when you ask 5 people. And so I'm always like, what's the testing? What's the data saying? So I think costs are going to drive a lot of it. And then I think the consumer is, in a sense, right? Like when all this first started, a mattress in a box, like I'll never forget, like doing qualitative research when I was back at Leggett, and I had people lay down on a foam bed, and this was back when Tempur was out and they were crushing it, and still are, of course, but it was early for Tempur, and they laid on it and they felt memory foam, and I immediately identified that with a Tempur-Pedic. And then I said, would it surprise you to know that that mattress came out of that box? I would spin them around in their chair and they saw the box and they're like, no freaking way. Is it possible that came out of that box? So, but now fast forward, I think people like that idea is, and there's been so much business being done. I think the concept is more accepted. Therefore, price sensitivity, I think people would tell you, well, you don't want to go much over $1,500 for a mattress in a box, because consumers don't want, necessarily a really nice bed delivered in a freaking box. That's not the experience we're after. But I wonder, now that it's becoming so common for beds to be sold that way, does that even move north? So 2 things to react to. Cost will drive the concept, and consumers' acceptance, given the amount of time in the market, will allow people to push mattresses in a box in a higher price point. Thoughts on those things?
Those 2 things actually overlap in my mind, because if you can push the cost, let's call it the ticket. So if you can push the ticket higher for a mattress in a box, you can go north of $1,500. You can start getting up into $2,000 luxury price points. If the consumer is going to accept that, the economics of selling them that product in a box are probably going to be more beneficial to the manufacturer or the retailer. So yes, if you can push those numbers north of $1,500, $2,000, and the consumer accepts it, then I think companies would absolutely go in that direction because of the cost savings. Now, that kind of begs the question of, okay, let's do a purist let's do a purist Excel spreadsheet on, in its purest form, if you're going to manufacture a mattress in a box and get it to somebody, what really are the all-in costs? And in its purest form of just doing, let's call it a regular mattress, and giving it to the retailer and the holding costs and delivery costs and all that thing, same product, you can put them both in boxes. Which one is going to be cheaper to deliver? I mean, guessing here, but I'm guessing it's going to be now that there's another layer to that. Now, is the retailer selling it through their website, or is the manufacturer of the mattress selling it through one of the brands that they own in a D2C website capacity? So if it's the manufacturer selling one of their brands online, with the cost to acquire a customer being so high, and one time we heard it was $250 just to get a customer to come to your mattress website and buy. Like, what are those all-in costs versus the all-in costs of kind of going regular through retail with a regular, let's call it a mattress that's just uncompressed? I don't know that cost stack, but you're right. The economics of that conversation are going to drive the market, because we're going to market to the consumers in such a way that get them to adopt whichever direction we want that to go. And it seems that we've been very successful at that over the years, because it is a infrequent purchase. When people come back into the market, they start paying attention. They're like, oh, a lot has changed. Surely it's changed. It's been 10 years since I bought a bed, or hopefully 7.
Yes, I think it is going to change. And listen, that stat you talked about earlier, where 80% of people, or whatever it was, are okay buying online, they had a good experience. Aren't they already kind of proving the concept out, right? So the mattress in a box concept, high degree of satisfaction. I don't think the consumer is as concerned about it as they used to be. I would like to see the data, Mr. Kinsley, that shows us where the price sensitivity is. And since we're totally in the research field these days, maybe we should do that, right? What is the price sensitivity to a mattress in a box? Can you put a $3,000 mattress in a box? Is a customer going to be okay with that as long as it recovers well? I'm interested in that answer.
I've seen data around it, and look, I mean, that's not where the volume is done. So, you know, whenever you start talking about higher price points, you're thinking margin dollars at that point. And, you know, it's just, that's not where the volume play is. So are customers sensitive to it at that price point? Well, number one, you're talking about, I mean, $2,000 plus, you're talking about like 22% of buyers, is what I would guess, you know, based on, that's changed over the years, but I've seen some data that's not terribly old. So let's call it, you know, 1 in 5 buyers are coming in at those luxury price points. So your data set is going to be quite a bit smaller, but it makes you wonder, like, if they're comparing 2 products and they've got one that's roll packed and one that's not, do they even care? Like, or if it's the same product and one comes not compressed and one comes compressed, are they even going to care? Or heck, are they even going to know? I mean, the retailer, the manufacturer, the brand, or the delivery guys, or whoever could pop that thing, let it inflate and deliver it at the last minute, you know, do it in the back of the truck. I don't know if anybody cares, as long as the product's good.
Well, okay, so play the game, right? I just sold you a $4,000 mattress and you're like, okay, cool, I'm going to have it. It's going to get delivered Wednesday. Wednesday comes, you open the door, bam, they bring in this box, they bring it into your room. I suppose part of this is the presentation, like they like warn you, okay, this is just so you know, it's really cool. Be there when your bed gets delivered because we're going to open it. You're going to get to see it. Like, you know, maybe there's a way to sell it as a cool thing, right? But I'm kind of with you. I don't know that I care as long as when I put it on my bed, it looks and feels like it did in the showroom. That's probably where my head would be. And I think also if it had coils in it, they need to explain to me why the coils weren't damaged, right? If it's roll packed, I'd be like, man, you like smushed all those coils. Like that would probably concern me. But maybe in the higher band, price band, maybe more of that's about the white glove experience where they want someone to come in and lay it out and set up all the stuff. And maybe it's more about that, and mattress in a box doesn't really lend itself to that as much.
I'm interested in why you're interested in this now, because we've talked about this trend since, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so here it is, a decade down the road, and we're revisiting this conversation, and you have a lot of questions about it. Okay, take me into your head. Why now?
Yeah, well, because, you know, now that I'm a merchant, right? So I think about this stuff a bit differently. And when you're asking questions to people and you get different answers, like for different places you go, it just makes you wonder, like, okay, so everyone's kind of got different thoughts about that. So that was a spike. Another one was, I'm with a guy who I've been friends with, my family's been friends with for a long time, and he manufactures a lot of stuff inside the industry. And he was telling me about an item, I can't get into what it is, but like it's out in the market today, and he can get, instead of 500 of them on a truck, he can get 3 times that many because of a new way he, you know, configured the engineered the product. And I'm like, that's massive. That's a massive difference, right? And so I just got to thinking about now more than ever, right? So maybe that's why it's also peaking, like cube on a truck, space in a back room, efficiencies. Everybody is going to be turning over every rock in every part of their company. And I think that this is maybe one of those things where people might see an opportunity. And I'm just curious where everyone else's head is. And I think that people listening to this, hopefully they're going, yeah, you know what? I agree. Like there's a lot of questions I'm not even sure about. So it'd be kind of cool if we had the answers.
And if you have the answers and you have some data you want to share, drop us a note. I mean, you hop over to fam.news and, you know, shoot us a text, and, you know, we'll give you our email addresses. We're always interested in chewing on some of that data. So maybe you do have some of the answers to these questions around mattress in a box or box beds or however you want to put it these days.
Well, and we're going to be doing a piece on this, Mark. We talked about it. I think you and I are lined up on this, but it'd be really cool to put together a real nice expose on it. Really, let's talk to foam suppliers and let's hear what they think about, the life of a mattress in a box and what they think the open by date should be. Let's talk to tip suppliers. Let's go to Culp and say, hey, Iv, hey, Jeff, hey, everybody, Christina, like, what are the things that like you guys think about and worry about, and as it relates to the fabrics? Let's go to the box suppliers. Let's literally pull the string out and get everyone kind of talking about it. If you're one of those people, or have any insights into it, you're a bedding manufacturer and you've run all those steps, we'd love to hear from you.
Quinn's a merchant now. Quinn is a merchant now, and he's got different questions. He's working on different problems and opportunities. Okay, help us out. Help me help Quinn.
I'm interested in all of it for all of us as a team. Now, if you know it all and you have all the answers, by all means, please share them with us, and we'll publish it for you. How's that?
I like that. Hey, and in the meantime, head over to fam.news. Make sure you're tapped in. And subscribe. There's a big green button right up the top right. It says subscribe. So make sure you're signed up. And as we publish the piece that Quinn's talking about, this definitive guide that's hopefully going to answer all of Quinn's questions and maybe all of yours, and at least be a dot on the timeline for the evolution of mattress in a box, then make sure you subscribe. And Quinn, what else? Subscribe to the Fan Marketing Show. Subscribe to our podcast. The
Fan Marketing Show and the podcast. And if you're listening to this, we always try to sign off this way. We appreciate you guys. Have a lot of love for this audience. Appreciate all of that. And listen, this is a campfire. We say it all the time. Please share it with friends, with people that just came to work for you, and let them know what we're doing here. They can scroll through the podcast feed, pick an episode that's relevant to them. Share some of the other podcasts we have with some of the incredible talent under the podcast section at fam.news. And let's be part of the Fam, be part of this community, and let's help us help each other get better and evolve into the next phase. You got a big face. What was that about?
And as we try to connect with each other more and more, let's connect in Vegas. So we're going to be at Summer Market, and coming up we'll send out an official invite, but it's going to be the afternoon of Sunday at Market. Come to the Englander showroom, and we are going to do something special. Me and Quinn are going to be there. It's a fam meetup. Okay, so plan on it for Sunday afternoon at Market, fam meetup, and we'll take the online, offline, and we'll give some high fives. How about that?
Let's go.
You can bounce on it. Yeah, bounce with it, bounce with it. Bounce with it, bounce with it. All right.
What is a hybrid? It's like peanut butter jelly, peanut butter chocolate. Hybrid so tight, there's no way that you could topple it. Hybrid on my wrist, that's a calculator watch. We add ourselves together and we take it up a notch.
Got the airflow, yo, keep you cool as it get. Visco foam alone to make you drip sweat. Get a hybrid mattress, yes, you'll get better rest. Cool and comfortable.
Hybrid like a sweater vest.
You know the game, we're ahead of the sun. Cause the two of us together are way better than one. Cause I'm cool as ice
and I'm hot like a heater.
Bounce by the ounce, now we got it by the liter.
Well, you take a spring and you wrap it up right. You can sleep so smooth or bounce all night. Put two together, get a whole lot more. Get the feel of the comfort core.
You can bounce on it.
Lay back, you don't have to practice. It's the best thing to happen to your mattress. Get together to do it like I did. Everybody get hybrid.
If you want somebody to get in your vicinity, you probably want to feel a little bit of a hybridity. Foam alone, out of 5, maybe 1 star. Springs and foam, we're taking care of that lumbar. Mad back support, the best way to shack up or just get rest that won't mess your back up.
Like a hot chick mixed with a particle physicist or a mullet. Party in the back of the business. Best of both worlds like Mars and Venus.
The ultimate hybrid.
Nothing short of genius.
Keeping it loose while keeping it tight. We can make you sleep or play all night. Put two together, get a whole lot more. Get the feel of the comfort core.
You can bounce on it.
No stopping when the beat gets played back. Springs keep it popping, foam keeps it laid back. Party over here, get invited. Everybody get hybrid.
matter if your kitchen is charming when your bedroom's the most important part of the apartment. What kind of bed do you keep back there? Does your girl wanna chill on a beanbag chair? Hell no!
You need springs and foam, cause if that bowling ball don't bounce, you'll be sleeping alone.
And if the bed don't react, then you can't get low. We got that type of bounce that won't spill your Merlot.
So stick with us and you'll get rewarded.
Cause I'm so gentle
And I'm so supportive.
Hybrid is where the magic is.
and we just killed a song about mattresses.